Hey, the job of your marketing is not to appeal to everyone. It is to pull in the right people and push away the wrong people. That's what we're going to be talking about on this episode. So if you've been having trouble attracting the right people, you're going to love this episode. So let's get on to the show.
You're listening to Be in Demand, the podcast for honest advice, inspiring stories, and ideas for growing your business by leveraging the expert that you are. I'm your host, Laurie-Ann, business mentor, and I'm also a reformed painfully shy girl, red wine lover, and exercise enthusiast. Join me as I share how being positioned as the expert in your industry, even if it's a busy one, will help you stand out and be the one in demand to hire and work with.
This is a topic that I hear so much about. And when I say I hear so much about it, I hear it with my own client. And it is something that I suffered from a very long time ago when I first came into the online world, when I started this entrepreneurial journey. And most likely because I felt like I had to appeal to everybody, because you're trying to, when you first get started, trying to get those clients to come in, to have a full roster of clients. When you start getting clients in, that starts to build your confidence. And the more specific you can be on who you work with, the easier it's going to be to fill that client roster. And I think when you're first getting started, and I see this with a lot of my clients, is hard to understand, which is part of the reason why the type of people that I work with, they already know who they work with, how they help them, the pain and problem that they solve. Your speech, when you are speaking, which is your best form of marketing, your speech is meant to pull in the right people and push away the wrong people. Pull in the right clients and push away the wrong clients. But just as a caveat, when I say push away the wrong client, you may be pushing them away because what they're feeling is, I'm not a good fit for this person. And at that very moment, they might not feel like any names come to mind. Who would be a good fit for this person that I'm hearing about, that I'm seeing speak, that I'm watching their video later on? When they do run into that person, it's like, oh, hey, they will be able to refer you to others. So it's this pull in the right people and push away the wrong people. Because as coaches, as consultants, you don't want to work with everybody. Absolutely not. When you think about the number of people that are actually on this planet, and you think of number of people who are looking for a coach of fill in the blank with what you do, when I think about all the different people that are looking for a coach to help them get visible, use speaking as their best form of marketing, to get positioned as the expert. There's a wide range of people that might fit into that specific category, who might actually raise their hand to say, yeah, I want to know how to get positioned as the expert. I want to know how to get in front of my ideal clients. I want to know how to all of that stuff. But I'm not the perfect coach for all of those people, because all of those different people are not the perfect client to work with me. So part of your job is actually to let the audience know. And when I say audience, I'm not just talking about the in-person audience and just the virtual audience. I'm talking about even your social media content, the stories that you're sharing out on social, the stories that you're sharing in your email. That way, your audience, your ideal clients who are in your audience, they're watching you, they're listening to you, they're learning from you, they are going to self-identify. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm that person. One of the questions that I want you to think about, what are the qualities of your ideal client? Really get specific about what are the qualities of your ideal client. And then I want to flip it around and ask you, what are the qualities of the perfect client that you enjoy working with? Because those two questions are going to help you actually pull in the right people. Because what I want you to do is I want you to start talking about it. I want you to start letting people know. And it can be as simple as if you are a coach or a consultant who knows exactly who they're working with, you're a high achiever, you've got a message that you want to get out to the masses and not just be building relationship one person at a time, which is the slow way of getting your message out there. If you want to be that speaker that is sharing your message in person and virtual stages and helping people globally, if you're one of those high achievers, then speaking is the perfect marketing tactic for you. It is the perfect marketing strategy for you to be implemented. What I'm doing is I'm calling in people with a big message, people who want to get their story out there, people who want to help more people and not just be writing a social media post hoping the right people read it, hoping the right people like it, hoping the right people comment, hoping the right people reach out to you, send you a DM, want to book a call. With speaking, there's no hoping. You are speaking to an audience filled with quality leads because your audience has raised their hand and said yes. They said yes to being there, so they're spending time with you. They said yes to buying a ticket, so they spent money to be there. And that money can come in the form of a ticket for that conference. They paid for a membership, whether that's an association, an online program. There's always some exchange of your audience spent time, energy, money, or maybe they know who you are and what you speak on, and they are interested in learning from you. When you're up there speaking to this audience of ideal clients, people who've said yes to you, your job then is to draw in the right people who are in that audience, because chances are not everybody is going to be an ideal client. And depending on what your offers are, and I say offers, you don't want too many offers, kind of like going to the restaurant and there's only one appetizer, one main course, one dessert to choose from. That doesn't give the patron, they don't feel like they have a choice. But then again, when there are pages and pages and pages of options, it can be too overwhelming. And I did a podcast on this. It's the power of 3. It's towards the very beginning of these episodes, so you can go and take a listen to that. There's a neurological reason why I tell all of my clients have 3 different options for speeches on your website. If you've got different programs and different ways that you work with people, like what are those 3 things so that people always feel like they have a choice? For myself, I have a group program, I have a membership, and I also have one-on-one coaching. And within my one-on-one coaching, you can do a 3-hour intensive, you can do a 6-month program, and you can also do a 1-year, which is very high level. It's a done-for-you service, and it's also a 6-figure option. And I don't offer that to everybody, but I also have something that people can fall into, whether it's free, which is this podcast to learn from. And then there's more the DIY stuff, which is the group program and also the membership. The membership is called In Demand. Go figure. Everything that I have is called In Demand. And then there's the high touch private coaching. Your job when you are in front of those people is just to really be attracting the right people to you. Because when you do this right, what ends up happening is that people pre-qualify themselves. They'll get on a sales call with you and they literally will be convincing you that they are a good client to work with, that you are the solution that they've been looking for, that they really want to work with you. Now, I'm thinking back to this in-person mastermind that I used to run. It was a women's business luncheon. It was something that I actually could do on the spot coaching. I would do some education because I always believe in a little bit of education along with networking. So I would do this education and then also do group coaching. So what I was doing, now people were paying to be there. So very specific people were joining, but not everybody that was in that room was an ideal client for me. watching me coach others. That was my dramatic demonstration. So that at the end, I would then offer to people, if you need more support in your business and achieving your goals and you want to talk to me a little bit further, I literally would just offer, raise your hand if you want to book a call with me. And I would have people raise their hand. We would get on a call. I would ask them some questions. They would ask me some questions because they wanted to know a little bit more about my program. And that's how I filled up my client roster. Because it becomes so easy because people actually are seeing you. You're doing your dramatic demonstration. You are demonstrating to an audience what it's like to work with you. They just want to get on the call to learn the details of what is your private coaching program, Laurie-Ann? Or in your case, they want to know the details of, well, what do they get? Like, what's the investment? What should I expect at the end of our work together? So your job when you're on the sales call is actually just to be drawing a line from where they are today to where they want to be. So from point A to point B, and letting them see that this is what you do. You are helping them get to where they are right now to where they want to be. So when you are that speaker, you are that person of authority. You're the expert in the room. And let's face it, clients hire experts. So being positioned as the expert in the room, all eyes are on you. Everyone's listening to you. Everyone's watching you, whether it's in person or it's virtual. But you're still that expert. And to be able to learn from you. And so that is your opportunity to start sharing stories. Stories about clients who've worked with you, almost like a case study. And in those stories, you can explain this particular person. Let's just say, I'll just call her Mary. And Mary is a high-achieving executive. She's moving up the corporate ladder, but she's been saying no to speaking events. And she knew that this was starting to hold her back from really moving forward in her career to her goal of being in the C-suite. So she knew that she had to work on her communication and her speaking, not only her confidence in her body language, but also in what she says. So right there's like a story about a client of mine. And what I'm doing is I'm sharing like, oh, wow, Laurie-Ann doesn't just work with coaches and consultants. She also works with executives that are trying to move up the corporate ladder. So I've planted that seed. That's what it is. It's a little seed. And we all know, because I've already mentioned it, that she was a high achiever. So anybody who's in the audience that sees themselves as a high achiever, they're going to be like, oh, I might want to work with this woman. Oh, wow, if I have that problem. Or even the people who just feel like, yeah, that's not me. Oh, but I know somebody. So again, you've got people that are in your audience that are also going to make your great referrals for you. They're going to be able to introduce you or introduce somebody to you who's going to be a perfect fit. So it's all about attracting the right people. So too many times I hear people say, well, this speaking thing, one day I'll do it. One day I'm going to start using speaking. But for right now, I'm going to write social media content. I'll do the occasional live. Oh, I hear that Reels are really hot right now and TikTok is hot. I'm going to go do videos over there. Well, guess what? Those Reels, that's a form of speaking. You're creating videos, you're speaking on them. That's a form of speaking. So if you've heard me say this before, you probably have, if you've been listening to my podcast for any amount of time, that speaking comes in many different forms, many different shapes and sizes. And the biggest thing that I tell all of my clients is, no matter what form of speaking you want to do, it needs to blend with your personality and your lifestyle. Because if you've got two little babies at home and you are trying to, well, I'm going to fly across the country and I'm going to go speak at this industry meeting, that's probably not going to happen, especially if you're a single mom or you just don't have anybody to watch your little ones. But you can be the virtual speaker. But how do you also maybe do some lives? Well, you might be doing those lives when those little ones are taking a nap. Or maybe you batch things because you are exchanging or hiring a babysitter that comes in for 3 hours a couple of times a week. And they're watching your little ones, and maybe you're working at some co-office, some co-working space. So I hope that this episode has brought you some clarity about your job as the business owner is to attract the right clients to you. No matter what your business is, you need to be attracting and pulling in the right people and pushing away the wrong people. That way your calendar is not filled up with people who are just tire kickers. Hey, I'm just kind of curious about what you offer, what this might do for me. No. We don't want those people on your calendar because that's just taking up space that could be used for somebody else who's of higher quality. If you are a high achiever, if you're somebody who has a message to deliver, if you've been in business for a while and you feel like you know exactly what you do, you know exactly who you're here to help, you know exactly the pain that you solve, and you know that your solution works, and you want to get in front of audiences filled with your ideal clients, if you want to start using speaking as your best form of marketing, I want to encourage you to book a call with me. And you can book that call over at chatwithla.com, and that link will also be down in the show notes. Book a call with me to learn more about the different programs that I have. I'll ask you some questions to help decide which of my programs would be a good fit for your goals and your personality. Because not everybody is a good fit for group programs, is a good fit for private coaching. It all depends on your personality, and that's why I get on a call with people so that I can ask them questions. And I get to know you a little bit better, which I love to do. So again, that link is chatwithla.com. And until next time, be in demand.
Thanks for hanging out with me. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And join me over in my private Facebook group for more tips, community, and free trainings. You'll find the link in the show notes. You can also help this podcast reach more listeners by leaving a review. And as a thank you, each month I pick one of my reviewers to win a free coaching call with me. So if you haven't done so already, please leave a review and you could be the next winner.